everyone, it's me, Saul, again. I'm back again. I say that a lot, don't I? Well, there is something I would like to make for you guys today. So, when I first started this channel, I designed it to be a 50-50 shared thing between two franchises, Godzilla and Metal Gear Rising, two of my favourite things of all time. And really the only relevant Metal Gear Rising video that I think I've made is the Senator Armstrong versus Darth Vader one, which almost got me disowned by my dad. Yeah, I love you, Dad. But yeah, so today I feel like I should try making another Metal Gear Rising video, you know, to really make it fair. So what better way is there to combine them? So what we're going to do today is something that is probably like Godzilla Guy's most iconic video series, where we take one character and put them in another series to see if they'll survive. So we are going to be taking the White Devil, the Ripper himself, Jack Raiden, main protagonist of the game, and putting him into the Monsterverse to see if he could survive. Now, we're not going to be putting him up against like Godzilla or King Kong or something like that. They would just step on him and he would die instantly. No, we are going to be putting him up against lesser kaiju in the series. We've put him under a 7 kaiju gauntlet to see if he will survive. And if he beats all of them, then we'll just say, yeah, he could survive the Monsterverse. So, this bracket will be Ramarak, Skull Island Kong, the Drown Viper, the Ion Dragon, Scylla, Rodan, and finally a secret bonus one that we will get to when we get to it. So, without further ado, let's begin. So first up, we've got Ramarak, Queen of the Skullcrawlers, and
she's getting sliced in half instantly.
You see, regular Skullcrawlers are able to get sliced into by a regular katana from World War II, and Ramarak herself is able to get impaled and sliced into by a boat propeller. Jack Raiden has something known as a high-frequency blade, which basically is kind of like a lightsaber almost, but the blade is still made of metal, where it can basically just cut through anything on a quantum scale. Like, Jesus. And yeah, he would slice through her like a hot knife through butter. Same goes for Skull Island Kong as well. He would. I know you just said, like, so you just said that if you were to put him up against Kong, he would just get stepped on and die. Why are you saying he would beat Kong now? Well, I'm talking about Kong in Godzilla vs. Kong and the New Empire. That Kong would kill him instantly. This is Skull Island Kong, when he was only like 100 feet tall and 158 tons. Which, side rant, I want to go on, that makes no fucking sense. Like, for example, Rodan in the Monsterverse is 50 feet taller than this Kong, and he weighs 40,000 tons. So I could easily see this Kong going by the size of different monsters in the Monsterverse. I could totally see him being like 20,000 tons, easily. So that's what we're going to go with, him being 20,000 tons, because that makes more sense than 158 tons. Like, come on. Now, this Kong is strong, don't get me wrong. I mean, even if we're going by the stupid 158 tons thing, he's still capable of lifting a giant boulder, which absolutely has to weigh like 20 times his own weight, like 2,000 tons or something. Like, that is heavy. That's definitely heavy, and he was able to lift that with really no issue. But the thing is, he's not durable, this version of Kong. He was able to get sliced into by helicopter blades. A futuristic high-frequency blade would slice his legs off with... Basically, like, you know how in Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong slices through Mechagodzilla with his axe? Yeah, the same sort of thing would happen to this Kong. And hell, even if he tried to step on Jack, well, even in his regular form at the start of Metal Gear Rising, which isn't the form we're using, by the way, we're using the main game one. his original form in the start of the game, he was able to lift a Metal Gear Ray, which weighs about 1,000 tons. So that's almost 10 times what Kong weighed in Skull Island. So yeah, he would just pick Kong up by like the pinky toe and would lob him into the sky. So yeah, once again, this is a pretty easy win for Jack. Next is the Drown Viper from Godzilla against Kong 2, The New Empire. And this one is a challenge. It's, you know, a giant... It's not a snake, despite the name, it's a fish. But it will be more challenging. It's in the water. It's one of the biggest monsters in the series, despite not being as strong as others. You know, it's really long. I feel like Jack would still be able to pull it off with relative ease. Like, if she was to try to, like, I don't know, eat him or something, he could just kind of, like, slice his way out through the inside out, which is pretty grim, but I imagine that is exactly what would happen. So, yeah, once again, well, it would be a challenge because it's in the water. I still think he would be able to, I think he could pull it off pretty easily still. Next, we have the Ion Dragon. This is definitely going to be a more interesting fight. This is from Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and this dragon was capable of taking Godzilla's atomic breath to the face and was still relatively fine. He had a few burn marks on him, but he was pretty much still intact. So do I think Jack would be able to do it here? Sort of. See, his high-frequency blade and Godzilla's atomic breath work in almost the exact same way, where they hit things on like a quantum scale. So I feel like his blade would still be able to cause lots of damage to the dragon, but from the outside, I imagine he probably wouldn't be able to kill it in a couple seconds like the previous other creatures. But if he got into the dragon's mouth, I feel like that would be like the weak spot, and he could like slice the inside of its mouth and like near the brain or something, or even just going through the eye, like in Rampage 2018, when George the gorilla impaled Lizzie the alligator through the eye, through the brain. Yeah, I feel like the same thing could happen here. Jack could just take his sword and plunge it through the dragon's eye and just go all the way. Like, it's a big dragon, it's not going to instantly hit its brain. But I feel like inevitably he would just slice down, like put a hot knife in a wall and it just slowly starts to fall down the wall. I feel like something would happen there where he would just start falling through the dragon's eye socket, reach his brain, and kill him there. This is a really messed up scenario, I've just realised. I think I might be psychotic. Okay, anyway, moving on. Next up is Scylla, who does actually weigh 20,000 tons, somehow, despite being almost the same height as the over 100,000 ton Godzilla. Doesn't really make any sense to me, but whatever. Hell, actually, Scylla, fun fact, is taller than Kong in Godzilla vs. Kong in the New Empire. He weighs 90,000 tons in that. And yet Scylla is taller than him, yet she only weighs 20,000 tons. I guess she's like got really next to no body, it's just like a shell with legs. But still, like, surely Kong in Kong Skull Island would weigh that amount, right? Anyway, now this would be a bit of a challenge. I'm sure that, like, if she were to impale Jack's body with her legs, I guess she could impale him, and that maybe. But at the same time, I'm sure Jack would still be able to lift her, right? See, Jack, even in his new form throughout the rest of the game, not just his original form, he was able to lift Metal Gear Excelsus, which, you know, the giant praying mantis robot, which probably weighs anywhere from like 10, 15, maybe even 20,000 tons. So I'm sure if he really, really tried, he could grab one of Scylla's legs and maybe lift her into the air and just, you know, slam her to the ground and then maybe do it again if need be. Then if she's on her back, he could just go up and like on top of her and just stab her in the stomach. Because Jack is known for being incredibly fucking brutal. Like, if you've played Metal Gear Rising, you know how intense that game is, and how intense Jack is. I don't think he would have any qualms with doing this. If anything, he'd probably enjoy it. Sick bastard. Alright, now we're on to the penultimate one. His most difficult challenge yet. Rodan. Now, Rodan is incredibly fast. He can fly really, really quickly. Like, I don't know, maybe even like faster than like supersonic speeds or something. And if he gets into the air and he just flies over a city, that city just crumbles. So Jack would definitely have a lot of trouble. But if Rodan was to fly down to the ground to try to pick Jack off the ground, Jack is incredibly fast as well. Like, he could go into his blade mode, which just slows down time for him, or he just gets incredibly fast. And he could just walk out the way in his blade mode, or if anything, just climb onto Rodan's back. Then he's got a bit of an advantage, because Rodan, despite his tough, like, volcanic magma armor, he isn't all that durable. He was able to get impaled through by Mothra's stinger. So, you know, that's something. So I feel like Jack's blade would be able to stab through Rodan, but at the same time, he's going to have to be really, really careful, because Rodan has, like, lava blood. So, yeah. However, once again, this might be another case of that Jack would have to go for the eyes. I feel like if he went for Rodan, if he managed to climb onto his head and stab him in the eye, I'm sure he could pull it off. But at the same time, this is an incredibly challenging fight for both combatants, because Rodan could just go into the sky and use his sonic boom attacks. But at the same time, if Jack was to get onto Rodan, he could go for the eyes and could bring him down. So this is an incredibly close fight for both, but I will still give it to Jack, mostly out of the fact that I want to show you who the secret bonus monster is. So yeah. And finally, the bonus monster, the final monster in this bracket, is Mechagodzilla. So I'm sure a lot of you are going to instantly think, yeah, no, Jack's done for. Like, it's a robot Godzilla that weighs 600,000 tons and can shoot like lasers, and he can shoot missiles, lasers, has hollow earth power-ups. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be screwed, right? And yeah, he probably would be. But at the same time, this isn't Jack's first rodeo when it comes to fighting giant robots. I mean, I haven't played the other Metal Gear games, I've only played Rising. But I know in Metal Gear Solid 2, when Jack was just a regular human, he was able to fight like 20 Metal Gear Rays with nothing but a rocket launcher and survived. Like, he won. So I feel like if a human with a rocket launcher can beat 20 giant robots that all weigh 1,000 tons, I'm sure this super advanced augmented cyborg version of him, who has basically just Godzilla's atomic breath as a sword, could definitely do some damage to this other big robot. See, Mechagodzilla's not durable either. He is made of metal, so that's certainly something. He's not armor, but he isn't all that durable. Kong and Godzilla are still able to cause him harm, and I'm sure you've seen enough videos by now showing how, like, not really all that intense Mechagodzilla is. So, yeah, honestly, I think Jack could just shred him as well. It would take a while, though. Mechagodzilla is really big. But yeah, overall, I think Jack would still be able to do it. Like, if he managed to get on Mechagodzilla's shoulder, then he could just slice through the robot's head. It would take a while, but I feel like he could do it. This is kind of just me just cheating my way through by saying, yeah, I think he could do it. That's it. I'm not giving you an explanation. So overall, do I think Jack Raiden could survive the Monsterverse? In my own opinion, yes. Could he go up against some of the big league monsters like Godzilla, King Kong, King Ghidorah, Scar King, upcoming potentially Space Godzilla? No. Any of these guys would just step on him by accident, wouldn't even know he was there, and he would die instantly. However, with some of the like low to medium tier monsters, then yeah, I feel like he could do it. So that's so I hope you enjoyed this video, and do let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing other could blank survive blank videos, because I do have some ideas in my head on what we could do there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you later.